What's up, guys? I'm Daemonxel, and a lot of talk has been floating around recently due to Tawna's Dev Q&A, as well as the 2-hour Ask Me Anything on Reddit from the devs. So we know we have a new legendary on the horizon. So this is a theory crafting video on what I feel could be the possibly next legendary that we'll get before the end of this year. So let's talk about it. So there's been a lot of speculation on who the next legendary could be, right? We know that one is coming. The devs in that 2-hour AMA basically said that, don't worry, we have a lot of shadow characters coming. We don't know if the next legendary is light or shadow, but they did say a lot of shadow characters are in the works, are coming. But they gave us a little nugget of information. They said that the next legendary will be from The Hobbit. Now, could this mean The Hobbit overall? You know, The Hobbit encompassing all 4 books. Or do they actually mean The Hobbit? I think they mean The Hobbit. And I do think that, I know my guess is completely left field, and a lot of people do disagree with me, but let's look at the possibilities. Now, obviously, we got recently Lord Balin in with Thorin's expedition. Balin's expedition. So we have Lord Balin here. We know he is from the Shattered timeline. He's going to have 2 elf brothers. Now, we've also been getting a lot of dwarves recently, right? We got Bifur. We got Gimli. Obviously, Gimli's from the Fellowship. Bifur is from the dwarf team. They're different teams. So, theorizing from The Hobbit, could Thorin be the legendary? Thorin Oakenshield, or Thorin II, eventually being called the King Under the Mountain, led Thorin's company, which brought the 13 dwarves with Gandalf and Bilbo to, that was right? Those are the main characters of the story. They brought him to the mountain to get back the lost dwarven treasure from Smaug the dragon. So, we have, right, the members of the company. Let me just use the little cheat sheet up here. Okay, so we have Thorin. We had Fili, Kili, Dwalin, Balin, Oin, Gloin, Dori, Nori, Ori, Bifur, Buffer, and Bumper. So, we know we have a few of these already in the game. Kili, Fili, Bifur, already in the game. Lord Balin from a Shattered timeline in the game. So it is reasonable to think, because they were a main proponent of that book, to have Thorin as the next legendary. That is a very good logical choice. I support this, but I also feel that, you know, that wouldn't necessarily be the legendary. I think eventually it will be a legendary, or maybe at least a marquee character, or a main character, or a leader of a dwarven faction for the game, but I don't think that would be. I know I'm probably wrong, but I don't think that is the legendary we're going to be getting. Another guess I feel would be good would be Bilbo Baggins. Again, the main character of The Hobbit. I think because we do not have Bilbo in the game at all. We don't have old Bilbo. We don't have young Bilbo. I have not seen Bilbo at all in the game. Beta, alpha, whatever. No footage of him. I think that would be a very good guess, because Bilbo would eventually. You can't have this game without. I think he has to come to the game sooner or later. So I think, yes, he would be a legendary character. I think a Shattered timeline version of him would be, you know, maybe if he just never gave back the ring, something like that. But I do think that he could be a legendary character. As far as his team goes, I don't know. Maybe a special faction of the Hobbits, or maybe he could run with the dwarves and be, you know, like part of Thorin's company. I don't know. I think, though, that this would be another contender for that spot. Now, the problem that I have with Thorin and Bilbo Baggins being the legendaries, not that I don't have a problem with them being the legendary. I think my problem with them being the next legendary would be is that it's a light character. Now, we've had a lot of focus on the light side recently. We've had the Dwarves. We've had the only shadow marquees that we've had was the Haradrim, right? We had Legolas. We had Gimli. We have the Gondor team. We currently have Balin's expedition coming right now. We have all these light side characters that have come, including the Rivendell. We have the first legendary, which is Elrond, which is coming back again, with Elladan and Arwen being the marquee characters. I think we need a solid shadow legendary. Now, I do know that Data Mines said that, initially the first Data Mine said that, the Witch King was going to be a shadow legendary, and you were going to need a Haradrim to get it. But in the Dev AMA, they actually went on record saying that they want to release the Nazgul as separate entities. It's going to be down the road. We're not going to see the Nazgul before 2024. They're going to be very powerful. They're supposed to be the most powerful characters in the game. They're each going to have their own team. So you have the Witch King, the Beast, the North, those characters that we've seen on the challenges, we've seen in certain chapters. They are each going to be leaders of a separate team. And I think they're all going to probably come together as their own team, which I think is very cool. It's like a hybrid version, so you can run them as either. But they do not really make an appearance in The Hobbit, right? We have not. I don't remember seeing the Nazgul in The Hobbit. Reading about them, the Haradrim were definitely not in it. So you wouldn't need the Haradrim. Because if you need them to unlock... Yeah, so that's not going to be them. So let's look at what shadow characters we have in The Hobbit. Well, we have Smaug. Obviously, Smaug is not going to be a playable character. He is too big. I want you to do some kind of legendary, beast fight, which I think would be a very cool event or a feature, because in Star Wars Galaxy Era, you have the starfighters, right? You have the fighters. So I think something like that would be very cool, like legendary beast fighting. So you would have Smaug, you would have the eagles. I think that would be very cool. Maybe they can implement the horseback combat that they were talking about. I think it's going to be Gollum. That is my guess on who the legendary is. Now, I know I'm probably wrong, but we have him in the game. We've seen him, I think he's in 1 or 2 chapter fights, right? He doesn't really do much, but he is such an integral part to the entirety of Lord of the Rings, right? He is in The Hobbit. He is in the Fellowship. He's in Two Towers. He's in Return of the King. It is a huge proponent, overarching across the entire story. And it has to do all with the One Ring, which we're all supposedly a part of, right? We all have these special rings that awaken everything, and that's the premise of the game. So I do think, and I think I'm, singularly, I do think that Smeagol, or, the Gollum, will be this next legendary in the game. Now, I have nothing to support this. There's no data mines. There's nothing to support my theory. It's just a feeling that I have in my gut. Now, obviously, when we look at the back of this video, after the releases, we can either say that I was, a prophet looking forward and pulling this information, or I was just dead-ass wrong. But in my feeling, I think he's going to be the legendary, and if not, it's going to be one of the other two. It's going to be either Thorin or it's going to be Bilbo. I could be completely wrong. It could be something completely out of left field, but I believe that these are my choices. Gollum being the first one, Thorin probably the second one, and Bilbo's being a close third, or even switch those last two. But that's my theory. Tell me what you guys think, who the next legendary is going to be. Put it down in the comments below, and let me know what you guys think is going to be the next legendary character for Lord of the Rings Heroes of Middle-earth. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if I don't talk to you beforehand, have a great week, have a great weekend, adventure safe, and good luck to you and your fellowship.